Good. Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Joe Weston, and it's our monthly uh, online Global Heart Gathering. Currently, it is July 8th, 2025. And as always, we're here to gather, to hold space, to be in community together of hearts, like-hearted people who are trying to figure out what's unfolding on this planet and find our ways through it, and not only make sure that we stand straight in that and remain flexible, but that perhaps there are even ways that we can be of support to others in doing the same. And that we experiment here and we share ideas here and we hold space for each other, we support one another, and we're here to cultivate fierce compassion and resilience. There's plenty I want to talk about, and I want to hear from you, and I want to get to our practice. But before I do that, I want to share, I'm going to put on, if you can indulge me for a moment, I went to an amazing ceremony last week that was just one big love fest, and that I wanted to share with you. I took a couple of pictures, and I want to share with you and I'll explain what it is. And I didn't get permission to share it, so I hope I'm forgiven for this. Let's see.
Oh, whoa.
These are photos of Hank and Mika's 10th anniversary celebration on a very hot day, sunny day in Amsterdam. And it was so loving and it was so beautiful. And I like this one. That's not me behind them. That's a friend playing music. They're in the middle of a ritual. And I just wanted to share that. It was such an impactful moment for me. And Hank and Mika have been such an important parts of my life and certainly part of this gathering and this group that we've developed for 8 years now. So I felt it was important to share that and to honor them in their celebration of what they're. If there's anybody wants us to say any words to them, or if Hank and Mika want to say any words, or just a loving symbol
Thank
of
you,
some kind.
Joe.
Do you all want to say anything?
It's great. Congratulations to you both. And it's great to see you full body.
Yes, we are real. We have more than only the head.
Anybody else?
Now, I like to share, we had a theme on our party, and that was gratefulness. Gratitude. I had to say the right words. And when you focus on gratitude, you get happiness all around you. And we asked all the people to write down all the things they are grateful for. So all that words were surrounded by us. That was very beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It was just so I'm happy to share that and all that love and to bring that in here and wish them well. Let's all receive that love and that gratitude. Let's take a breath. And I'm going to start with that. Also, something interesting thing that happened this past Sunday. I was here in Amsterdam, a day-long event to celebrate the 90th birthday of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And it was quite a beautiful event. And I was invited to be on a panel and also to lead a group meditation very similar to this global meditation. And there were remarkable people there. And it was actually, you would have appreciated, the theme was compassion in action. So it was right up the alley of what we've been doing for years. How do we take the idea or the wish for compassion and turn it into action, to contemplate it in a deeper way, so that it resonates in our hearts and that we personalize it, and that we actually, as I say with this practice, it's like condition training, like you go to the gym. We're stretching the capacity of our hearts to be able to hold more beings with love and compassion, with care and respect, without it burning us out, without it overtaxing us, that we become more resilient and capable of being of service at this time on the planet. And it was just remarkable to see the number of people that were there who are doing remarkable work and are committed to this. So I just wanted to share that. It was a special experience for me, and to meet some new people and to really start thinking about where we are right now on the planet, and to just, to get it from many of you who are from the US, to get it from, to really be with Europeans, and how Europeans are experiencing what's happening, which of course is very different from what Americans are experiencing. And I want to do a little talk for those of you here for the first time. It's always the way we do this is I start with sharing some ideas of what I've been thinking of. And that can lead to a discussion, but that we take that into our practice, which we'll do. And then there's time afterwards to reflect and discuss. And if you're here for the first time, thank you. It's great to have you here. And of course, always for those of you who have been here and holding space with me for this. What we're doing here, which I also brought up during the celebration for the Dalai Lama, is that we're cultivating being midwives at this moment on the planet, Vroedvrouwen, for a system that's dying away and that has been dying away for a while, and what is being born at this moment. And that, like someone in the birthing process or in the dying process, the person who's giving birth or the person who's dying, they're really caught up subjectively in what's going on. They're going through a lot. And the people around them, perhaps. And that the reason why I find that so powerful, the idea of a midwife, a doula, a vroedvrouw, is that they're completely committed to what's happening. They're fiercely engaged with all that's happening. They can show you in one moment the most incredible care and tenderness, and if need be, they can go into a sense of fierceness and clarity. And they hold, even though they're involved with the process, they hold a level of objectivity. And what I'm finding at this time is that it's hard for me, and I'm finding it's hard for a lot of people based on who I talk to and how I see them communicating on social media, to hold that sense of objectivity, but not, hi Cindy, but not, that's always like, that's a very Buddhist thing. How am I in the world, but not of it, right? To understand the difference between being detached and not attached. The difference between detached and not attached. Many people have a misconception with Buddhist teachings or teachings like that, that the idea is to be detached. And then they get very emotionally disconnected, or they're really good with spending all their time in a hut or a mountain. And that's their path. But it's not, the idea is just to fully engage with the world, but simply not be attached to what you're fully engaged with. I remember watching an interview, and I've seen this in conversations with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, where I've been in interviews and I've been in a room with him, where he'll say that I can fully enjoy my breakfast. I don't have to be detached from the sensory experience of breakfast. I can fully enjoy it in this moment, because in this moment, I have the conditions and the causes to be eating a delicious breakfast. And if it doesn't happen tomorrow, then it doesn't happen tomorrow. And I can be eating this breakfast, and at the same time, I can be holding the highest vision of every being on this planet having satisfaction of eating breakfast. So that changes it. So even eating breakfast becomes a practice. And that's, in a sense, not being detached, but not being attached to needing to have it every day, simply enjoying it for now. That in itself is, I think, a rebellious act, is to really get into this moment of what does it mean to fully be in this moment? What can I do in this moment? Not attached to an outcome, and not attached that the next moment might be different. And part of this celebration on this past Sunday was with a documentary that was made by a Dutch woman, an artist, who spent a lot of time with the Dalai Lama and there's a lot of interviews. And as the film went on, it got more into how can to be of support, certainly to the Tibetan people and their plight, but what's happening on this planet. And the Dalai Lama even said, in his own words, we're in a time now where we always have to come from compassion. But the time is coming now with how do we meet this level of disregard for humanity in a way that he doesn't use this word, but it is fierce, and that he's an invitation that we have to consider that our practices on some level need to adapt to what's unfolding now. And what that also means is that if our practices are that we're resonating from our highest principles, that one might think, oh, then if I'm going to function now and meet the violence and the oppression and the disregard for humanity with a disregard for humanity. And unfortunately, what I always say is that if you confront a bully by bullying them, then basically you've just bought into the bully system. And as many teachers have said, if you fight the system, you're simply feeding the system. And I'm not saying it sounds easy, but the question is, how do we remain attached or engaged without attaching? And how do we step up our practices where we are fiercer? And what does that look like? And that's what we've been discussing for 8 years now. And many of you have your ways of doing that. And it's getting harder and harder to maintain the compassion part of the fierce compassion part. And I put out a newsletter recently and wrote an article about this where I've said, for me, what I'm observing is that the work I've done with respectful confrontation and fierce civility, it has really been, when it was originally published, the work, and I was doing it, it was a preventative method. How do we prevent the breakdown of systems that are civil? How do the breakdowns of civility, the breakdowns of a disregard for human beings? It was a preventative method. But unfortunately, we're at a point now where there's no need to be preventative anymore. We're here. Many of us, our task can be to simply help people wake up to see we are here, certainly in the United States of America. And I'm not saying that to create a pessimistic view, but to just really take a look. When I went to the conference that I told you about, the Supranational Democracy Conference, these were top academics and people in the European Commission who were saying the same thing. We're here. You could argue that human beings come here every 80 to 100 years. But for me, this is different because of the circumstances. We didn't have internet 80 years ago. We didn't have nuclear weapons 80 years ago. The planet wasn't as hot as it is now 80 years ago. So we're in a moment where we're on this edge of, if we are practicing fierce compassion, then we're practicing this idea of catalyst of fierce hope, where we're training ourselves to always be on this edge of dropping into the abyss of despair and flying into the realms of possibility and hope. And we're training ourselves to dance on that edge. We have to, because if we're just going to go into the hope, if we're just going to fly into the hope and possibility, then we're not connected to reality. And we're not serving anyone. I'm not saying I'm right, but that's a way to look at it. And if we jump into the abyss of despair, we're certainly not serving anybody. But we have to stay present to this moment and what's unfolding, and that's a lot of work. Some people are wired that way. People who certainly have had trauma histories, or are first responders, or veterans, or people who are enjoy the adrenaline rush, right? Enjoy being on that edge. But we also have to take care of ourselves in that. And some people really don't know how to be on that edge. And I think I'm adding that to what we're practicing, the resilience and the fierce compassion, is how do we train ourselves to be on that edge? That we're just the slightest little bit of a weeble. I don't know what we would call that. Some of you who are my age might understand the Weebles wobble in America. That's the practice. And magic can happen in that. And magic is happening in that. And magic will happen in that. And I don't have the answers of that, but I have a way of saying, what are we doing in this moment? And so we're here. And I want to just share, what does that mean now? What's our way out? We're the frogs in the pot. The pot's getting hotter and hotter. And I want to remind us that we can always find ways out. If you know that image, the frog doesn't know that the water's getting hotter and hotter until it's too late. And what I'm offering here using this image is to consider we're the frogs. And what's unfortunate is that the system has got us focused on the pot. No, we're first focused on the other frogs who have different viewpoints about how the world is. And the system's doing a great job of getting the frogs to fight with each other based on beliefs. And so we're all focused on fighting on each other as this world system is just slowly adding fire to the flame. So we're either focused on the other frogs or we're focused on the pot, and the pot are our world leaders. In the US, we know who that is. It's like that pot is oppressing me. It's holding me in. And we're trying to, and we think we're going to fight the pot, and that's going to do it. Or government systems and all of that is the flame. So we're so focused on the other frogs who wear different caps and the pot and the flame. As the water's getting higher, we're not thinking about, oh, there's actually someone who has turned the flame on and can turn it on or off. And who that might be, that's a whole other conversation. But I think what's interesting to consider is we're in it now. What's the way out? Fighting the pot's not the way out. Fighting the other frogs is not the way out. And I will always come back to 100% that there are probably many ways out, but one way out that I believe is true is finding alliances in surprising places. It's got that because there are so many frogs in that pot. There are so many ways of not boiling to death. You can all drink the water and there's no more water, then you just got to deal with a hot pot. Or the frogs can stack on top of each other and flip themselves out. But none of that's happening. Or you push the water out to put the flame out, right? I've just offered 3 solutions that get us out of at least what many of us are in, which is fighting each other, fighting the other frogs in the pot, or just constantly focusing on the pot itself as the thing that needs to change. So what can we do to create these alliances? Because you remember a few months ago, I gave the talk about helping us understand what a billion is. It's a great, you should look back. I don't remember what month it was in, so you might have to watch all the months in the last for now. But this idea of $1 billion or euros. We don't understand what a billionaire is. We have a false conception that a billion is just 10 millions. It's not. It's 1,000 millions. So when we think of billionaires, we think, oh, that's not, I don't know if I can achieve it, but it doesn't sound too hard. And then I gave the image of understanding what a billion is, where I said, if you were to walk from New York City and you'd walk 1,000,000 steps west, or if you walk from Amsterdam and you walk 1,000,000 steps west from New York City, in 1,000,000 steps, you'd get to about the Indiana-Ohio border. In Amsterdam, you'd get somewhere close to Eastern Germany. That's 1,000,000 steps. If you walked 1,000,000,000 steps from Amsterdam or New York and you headed west, you'd have to go 19 times around the planet. 19 times around the planet. If we had some time, I would go 1, 2. So 1,000,000 is the distance from Amsterdam to somewhere in Germany, or New York to somewhere in Indiana, Ohio. 1,000,000,000 is 19 times around the planet. There are 8 billion people on the planet. I did my math beforehand because I wouldn't have figured it out now. That's 152 times around the planet. So if you did 8 billion steps around the planet, you'd have to go 152 times around the planet. There's enough people on this planet to create a collective mass to overcome any problem we have on this planet. Finding alliances in surprising places. This idea that we are separate. This false idea that we are not understanding that we are interconnected and interdependent. We always have been, we are, and we will be. The work is not that we become more one and interconnected and interdependent. The work is that we take a look at the false notions that we are separate and understand the interconnectedness. So I want to offer that. I would like to get into our practice, and then I'd love to hear from you. And what ways are you trying to ally with frogs, or drink some of the water, or lower the flame? Some of you are doing remarkable work. I know that for a fact, and in your own way. So let's do our practice. Sitting in a way where there's no right way to do this, wrong way to do this. This is our practice of cultivating resilience and fierce compassion. Training ourselves to dance on that edge of pure presence where anything is possible. Claudia, it's great to see you here. Thank you for coming. So starting with power sit, where you're sitting in a way where your spine is straight without being rigid. Elongating from the back of your neck, so you tuck in your chin a little bit. Relax your jaw, relax your shoulders, relax your belly. So this is the position you can sit in where you can cultivate the most presence, awareness, balance, and flow. Our definition of resilience. Now bringing awareness to your core in your lower belly. That's approximately the width of 3 fingers below your navel and 1/3 of the way into your body. So if you put your fingers together, you place your index finger over your navel. Where your pinky is, that's approximately the width of 3 fingers below your navel. Bring your attention inside of your body, from the front of the body, about 1/3 of the way. See if you can place your full attention on that spot. Your center of gravity, creativity, gut wisdom, personal power, impulse, intuition, and awareness. And our goal here is to kind of unify and align your core, where your awareness is, your heart, where you connect from feeling and connection, and your thoughts and your intellect. Starting with your center of awareness. From your center, become aware of your contact points, the parts of your body that are connecting with the ground and the chair, the cushion, whatever you're sitting on. And feeling those contact points, feeling the sensations of your body, of those points pressing against the ground and the chair. allowing the nerve endings to register the stability under you. And with that sense, and registering that sense of stability, trusting the stability, allowing yourself to be held. What is that? I'm offering that to consider as a tremendous gift to yourself. Just doing a practice to remember what that's like to simply be held. How much power that would bring to you, healing, connection. Trusting or using the chair or the ground as a representation of Mother Earth who's beneath you, remembering that she's always supporting you, always carrying you. With that stability under you, now coming more in contact with yourself, starting with your physical body. So from your center, become aware of your physical body, your sensations. What are you noticing? Just observe. Don't need to move or stretch. Simply listen. Let the body speak to you and learn to listen. What's the language and vocabulary of the body? From your center, become aware of your emotional body. What emotions are you present to? No need to change them or judge them. Simply give them space to flow. Which ones seem to be most present on the surface? Just register that information. From your center, become aware of your thoughts, your mental body. From your center, place of awareness, become aware of the thought process. Observe it. Gather information, not necessarily what you're saying, but the quality of your thoughts. Maintaining connection with your core, now bringing awareness to the middle of your chest, where your heart center is, where your heart power resides. Respect, dignity, connection, compassion. And from your center and from your heart, become aware of that part of you which has connection to something larger than yourself. And from that part of you, become aware of what your connection is in this moment to something larger than yourself. And that could be something spiritual, it could be humanity, the matrix. In this moment, what are you feeling is your connection to something larger than yourself? Allow that flow to flow into you, into your heart, into your core. The stability of Mother Earth flowing into you, into your core, into your heart. And as it's flowing, allow it to flow out into your personal space, out to the edges of your own personal boundaries in all directions, behind you, above you. And with this awareness in this moment of yourself, in this way, from your center and from your heart, take a full depth breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Maintaining connection with yourself in this moment, keeping your eyes closed from your center and from your heart, become aware of your surroundings in all directions, behind you, above you, placing yourself in this context. Offering gratitude to your space and what it offers you, shelter, warmth. And what are you registering in this space? Sounds and light, temperature, smells. How are you being influenced by your surroundings? And with an awareness of yourself and your surroundings from your center and from your heart, take a full breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And using this as an anchor, your connection with yourself and your surroundings, as you now expand the capacity and awareness of your heart. And from your center, your personal power and your heart, become aware of those in this meditation circle. And see if you can, what is it to actually connect with others, even from a distance, from your heart, from your core. Currently with people online in the World Wide Web, in this moment, from North America, various parts of North America, various parts of Europe, those holding space with us in other parts of the world. What is it like to actually reach out with your presence and awareness and connect? How are you being influenced in this moment by others in this meditation group? How are you influencing them? Does that bring you more security, more sense of belonging, of power? Does it intimidate you? Does it make you feel more vulnerable? And with this awareness of self, surroundings, and those in this meditation circle from your center and from your heart, take a full breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And expanding this now from your center and from your heart, holding on to your connection and foundation of self, surroundings, and those in this meditation circle. Become aware of all human beings, beginning with those human beings you would label loved ones. And with this image of, in this moment, on that edge, being a midwife, being present to what's happening, but not attached. As you stand face to face, who arises in your heart, these loved ones? What is, and just to imagine, just to, without needing to feel it, but just to open to the presence of what their experience of being on this planet is in this moment. How are these loved ones? Who's arising in your heart? How many can you hold in your heart? And even if you can't sense what they are experiencing right now, just the question of asking and trying to feel into it is the practice. How much is their pot boiling, or how much are they boiling in the pot? And in what ways can you find new ways of engaging to ally with them? What little ways can you do to spark in them a deeper commitment to global civic engagement, to civil discourse? Allowing energy to flow and emotions to flow. And we'll switch it up a little bit. From your center and from your heart, become aware of those human beings you would label adversaries. Who arises in your heart? What faces do you see? How does that affect your level of open-heartedness, your level of compassion, your own sense of belonging or not? And with as much courage and compassion that you have from your center and from your heart as you connect with them, considering what's their experience of being in this pot. What could they be possibly going through? allowing energy to flow and emotions to flow. And in what ways, small ways, could I maybe find alliances with even them, these people that I'm holding in my heart? The path to get there might be very windy and treacherous. But what things could shift within me that could actually create the possibility that these are allies in surprising places, surprising allies? And from your center and from your heart, become aware of those human beings you would label stranger. And who arises in your heart? What faces do you see? Surprise yourself with what shows up for you. Considering that there's probably more than 7 billion in your stranger category. That could be neighbors. They could be in the supermarket. They could ride the bicycle alongside you every morning. They could be people you see in newspapers or in social media, or just imagine. What's their experience in the pot? And imagine that if it is more than 7 billion, that how many that actually is, that all those 7 billion would be like walking around the planet at least 150 times. Could there possibly be 1, 2, or 3 of those 7+ billion people that you could call in to shift something, to find new alliances in surprising places? Whatever your passion is, sustainability, justice, healing, restoration of the rivers and the mountains, calling more people into alliance. And imagine all of us now in that pot together, that we all connect from our personal power and our heart with honor and respect, and actually see a very simple way out for whatever that might be for you. And we're free. And the other creatures on the planet rejoice. And Mother Earth rejoices. And we stop playing these games with each other, and we do probably what we're here to do, which is be stewards for this planet. Protectors and nurturers for Mother Earth. Protectors and nurturers for every other creature on this planet. Hold that image. What does it feel like? With gratitude. And watch the flame go down on that boiling pot. Or all the frogs just jump out. Drink all the water. Knock the pot down. And we're free. With this awareness, this image that you have, allow that to resonate in your heart as you bring all human beings into your heart in this moment. And as all beings are now shifted into your heart, coming back to awareness of those in this meditation circle. With the deepest of honor and respect for each one of us in our own unique ways, that we're holding space for hope and possibility with fierceness. Almost with a deep bow to one another. Those in this meditation circle flowing into your heart as you bring your awareness back to your surroundings. So you anchor this in this present moment, your experience, and the gratitude for having this space. Unique to the many billions of people on this planet. Allow the personal, your surroundings to flow into your heart as you bring your awareness back to yourself. And just a moment of gratitude and honoring for yourself. How brilliantly, how deliciously you have been navigating the world as it's unfolding in your own unique way. Sometimes with grace, sometimes really sloppy, but with compassion and awareness and skill. Like a pat, like a loving pat on your shoulder. Good job. And allow the experience of this practice now to seep into your system, to seep into every cell of your body. Activating and enlivening every cell of your body. Flowing into your organs as a way to nurture, to heal, enliven, rejuvenate. Flowing into your nervous system as a way of allowing the nervous system to remember the direct experience of what you have cultivated through this practice so you can walk it into the world. And as a way to close this practice, let's take one final deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And this moment of transition is important to do this inner practice to now, as you open your eyes, look around the world, back into the pot. Shake your body a little bit, stretch your body, look around. Look at all the beautiful little squares and faces in the squares. And so we had a chance to, first of all, celebrate Henk and Mika's anniversary, wedding anniversary. I shared a little bit about a few ideas to bring into the practice. We did our practice, and now we get a chance to reflect. If you'd like to, please just unmute. You don't have to raise your hand. You don't have to just unmute. And just, in fact, if everybody wants to unmute, you can do that. And just jump in and share what's on your heart or what's happening in your world. Some of you are doing, like I said, remarkable things at this moment. Who'd like to begin?
I like to
Go for it.
share that I'm visible. I like the pot with all the frogs because we're all in the same place. You can't distract yourself from what's happening. And I think that's a good to realize. You can say, oh, I only go on with friends. No, we're all in the same pot. Well, even people are not your friends, we're in the same pot.
Yeah.
It makes it more urgent.
Nice. It's a good word, urgent.
Yes.
Thank you. Let's take a breath. Who else? Just jump in.
Hello, everybody. What I experienced was, especially when we went to the heart, it felt so huge, so powerful. It's all that counts, and I could personally reach many people, and yeah, I'm still a bit quiet about it, but I felt it was a lot, and Yeah, I think it's the second time that you do this, and yeah, for me again, the word is powerful, and like what you said, sorry I forgot your name, the lady who was speaking, the anniversary lady. Yeah, we are all in the same pot, absolutely, and but we're also different, and but by doing this, we can find each other in a good, positive way. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you. Just take a breath. And yes, you have a very big heart. Yes, Judith.
At some point in the meditation, I became aware of how I'm pushing against what is instead of doing what makes sense, which is to build the new. And very recently, a couple of weeks ago, I realized that I'd forgotten about magic. And so to just remember that that's not only available, but that's really how things work, was a relief. Because in the absence of that, I think I have to lift and pull and make everything happen. So there's such amazing relief, beauty, grace in recognizing that once something is set in motion, mostly forces unseen will keep it going and create new avenues and create new meetings. And it's pretty astonishing if I get out of the way.
Thank you. Very profound. And I just want to say, because I don't know everything you're doing, what you and John are doing, who's with us as well, somewhere in Deborah's Square somewhere. You're out every day, or you're showing up. You're doing something in your own way, creative way. So you're creating the conditions for magic. You're creating the conditions for possibility. So I think that's important that other people know that, that's the context in which you're saying, okay, that's happening, and now let's get out of the way. And it's just in the showing up that the magic can happen.
So you're clarifying that get out of the way doesn't mean get it started and then go watch television?
That should be part of it, yes, because it's a great self-care tool, yes. Yeah. Thank you, Deborah. Claudia, I don't know if you want to share, but I'm not sure how available you are, but curious how things are where you are. Yeah. You don't have to, but
That's fine. I was getting ready to open my mic and turn on my camera again. So I was gonna get dizzy walking around the earth so many times just with 1 billion. So 7 billion people, 9 billion. It's a huge amount. So thank you for putting things into perspective in such a clear way, because we often forget. Well, I never even thought about that. And so the fact that a few of us can do a little bit of work and can reach out to so many people, it's just a fascinating idea to me. Like Deborah was saying, a reminder of how much magic there is available for us is really a wonderful reminder. I've been doing a lot of, what's the word you used? I forgot. Oh my God. Comforting people during this time with my job. And so this practice was really meaningful. I had just finished doing a Pilates thing online, and then I remember, oh, Joe's call, so this is just a perfect way of doing some self-care, and definitely a reminder that we also have to think about ourselves, care for ourselves, otherwise we will burn out and we'll stay in the pot. So I definitely think that we've built a lot of resilience and helped people ourselves get out of that pot. So thank you so much. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you, Claudia.
Oh, hi
Breath.
everybody.
Hey.
I had another activity, so I was only able to join at 12:30. And when I joined and I saw everybody, all these familiar faces and the new ones to me, I really fell in the pod. I love it. This is the super pod. I feel so connected with this community, so rich. I don't know. I feel very happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ophelia. It's always great when you are here. Add your wisdom and your heart. Thank you. Breath. Couple of more.
Congratulations to Hank and Mika. I learned
Yeah.
that you had an anniversary. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. You missed the photos. I showed some photos at the party, but another time.
Okay.
I love the hearts.
Hearts. Claudia's party sign. Anyone else?
I just remembered that last Sunday we had a barbecue with many neighbors in our street. It's not great, it's not big, but it makes you appreciate a lot of people you hardly or partly know and are quite different from yourself. So you can build bridges between each other. And I liked it very much.
Oh,
Thank you. Take a breath. Tim, what are you up to these days?
Joe, I just wanted to say that this was very powerful for me. And also you quieted down my 2 Savannah cats, which I'm always grateful for in this process. I was thinking about a conference I was at in Atlanta on forging a people-powered democracy and the notion of mutual interests, right? And being able to get beyond the divide and conquer that's always separated us as the frogs and finding those mutual interests. I think that's a connection I made today.
You. Okay. Well, if anybody else can share if they want, but as always, we get a chance to reflect. We get a motivation. We do our practice. We reflect. And we do a dedication. So if you can just take a moment, as I always say, it's a statistical miracle that this group of people show up of the 8 billion that walk around the planet all the time, or not.
We're going to have the time to do it.
They don't have time to do it, right? That we show up and then we do this, and that's a miracle, right? The statistically that it's us is a miracle, and so there's potential here. There's potential for magic. The practice we did, the collective practice in the World Wide Web, I really believe that can really plant some seeds for more of us realizing that there is always a way out that isn't fighting, it isn't running away, and it isn't hiding. So let's hold that. If there are people in your life who are struggling, just place, let this energy that we've generated together reach them, and in some way give them some sense of hope or soothing. That people who are rigidly holding on to ideas of who they need to hate, that somehow something happens within them that just softens and realize that there's more potential for alliances. That all governments govern from a place of compassion and cooperation and generosity as opposed to fear and greed. And that all the efforts you're doing, that may they be effortless. Any companies you're working on, may they flourish. May you flourish. And may all your efforts have compounded effects without having to burn out to do it. Let's take a breath. So some announcements, just to remember that, always remember that we're here every second Tuesday of the month. So put it in your calendars. It's great to have you show up, and think of one or two people in this practice. Think of a few frogs that you can bring along who might resonate with this, to give them this opportunity to fall into this energy that we create, and spread the word about it. There's a bunch of links. If I don't ask for money up front, but if you want to make a donation, there's a link here to make a donation. The money goes to the Fierce Civility Project, which is set up to create opportunities of projects to create more alliances, undividing the world. Purchase books is a way of supporting this. If you, George, can you just raise your chest a little bit and show your Occupy Here t-shirt? If that's already action. That's a direct, that's a creative, that's a way of doing social activism, is to go around your neighborhood and with your people, and this idea of Occupy Here. Keep it updated on upcoming events. So these are just different links. Get in touch. Of course, the TEDx talk, A Cure for Chronic Niceness. For those of you in the Netherlands, I'm leading now every Friday morning Weston's weekly warm-up, a 90-minute embodied practice to cultivate that resilience and stress management. I'm going to be doing more events like that, and I'll keep you updated on other things. I have some ideas of maybe doing some online trainings as well. I think that's it. It's really lovely to see you, and be well. Get in touch if you have any questions or you just want to reach out, and I look forward to seeing you next month.
Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great month.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you, Joe.
Bye.
Oh, I thank you all.
Good to see you.
Thank you, Joe.